Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hey, Pete. Welcome back. This is Films and Stuff. How are you today?
I am great. Ethan, how are you?
I'm great. And just so that we can set the scene for this episode, this is going to be one of our general patented entertainment rambles.
That's
a lot
right.
of tangents, no specific topics, but we've got a lot on our minds. So let's get it out.
Yeah. So I thought this was a good time for us to take a reflective look. It's been a quarter into the year, right? We're almost at 3 months in. What have we been watching? It seems like this has been a relatively slow start in terms of television, maybe also in terms of movies. You know, of course, last week we saw Shazam, and then we've seen a few other movies in the last couple of weeks. We have also talked about The Last of Us, which we saw a couple of weeks ago as well. So I thought it would be nice, though, to touch base on shows that we're watching currently, or that we've just finished watching, or that we're just about to start watching.
Okay. Where do you want to start? You want to start with what we're watching now?
Yeah, why don't we do that? I think that's the best. So, as most of our fans and listeners will know, of course, The Mandalorian season 3 kicked off 3-4 weeks ago.
That's right. We're on episode 4 now. It was released, right?
Yeah. So I think we're up to episode 4 at the time of this recording. I am up to date. I know you're one episode behind me.
I'm one episode behind you. So I've seen numbers 1, 2, and 3. And what did you think? I mean, when you watch that first episode, does it get you pumped for the new season or
not at all?
Pumped?
Not at all. In fact, I think it was a really slow start, and I think I know why. And it's because episode 1 effectively negates the need for I think it was episode 7 of the Book of Boba Fett. So remember at the end of Book of Boba Fett, towards the end, the last 2 episodes were Din Djarin centric. They followed him. He was looking for the new base of operations. He was trying to figure out the Darksaber, that sort of thing. And he was, let's say the result of that was he was told that to redeem himself and to become a Mandalorian again, he had to bathe in the living waters of the Mandalore.
That's right.
And that was what we learned in the Book of Boba Fett, which is why I always used to joke and call it the Book of Bobalorian, because basically it became about the Mandalorian at the end of the TV series.
That's right.
All of episode 1 was essentially a recap of those 2 episodes, primarily because I think a lot of people who are fans of The Mandalorian stopped watching the Book of Boba Fett. That's probably why they had to do that. I'm working backwards here now. So rumors and reports came out that actually it was requested that because Book of Boba Fett wasn't testing very well, that they put the Mandalorian in it against Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's wishes. That's what I heard. I'm not saying that's what it is. That's what some of the rumors on the streets were. And if that's the case, then this wouldn't have felt like a retread, because theoretically this should have been the first time we saw all of this.
Yeah, they kind of cannibalized
exactly
the Mandalorian to kind of save Book of Boba. Do we even want to go back to why Book of Boba wasn't so great?
Not really. No. I think it just, you know, ultimately I think our lesson to that was, you know, some myths are better left unexplored.
I got the same sense that, you know, watching a new season, the first episode, that first scene is always so critical, right? Because you've got like a lot of enthusiasm, sometimes like a little bit of nervous energy. You know where kind of things left off. And you're like, okay, is it going to be like a continuation? Is it going to be a flash forward where things are all resolved and now this person's in a totally different place? I guess I felt watching the first episode that I didn't really get anything new out of it. that it was just like a lot of exposition and trying to like re-explain what happened in the prior season. And I think
Exactly.
that's what you were saying, right?
I agree. And I think that's why it felt, when I saw the first episode, I was like, okay, it's not bad. It
Yeah.
was nice to see everyone again. But if this is all we're going to be doing in season 3, then I'm a bit worried about it.
Yeah. So I felt there was a lot of, not just in episode 1, but kind of 1 and 2, there was a lot of fan service, you know? Like I just felt, and you said the same way, like it's like they were just revisiting setting after setting, right? They're on Navarro, then they go back here. And it just felt like they were going, round robin to somehow incorporate all the old characters and all the old stories and all the old jokes and laughs and snickers that we got in the first few seasons without really like creating anything new in terms of storyline, plot, powers, maturity of character, anything like that, right? Mandalorian hasn't really changed part of that is just the fact that he's a Mandalorian, but he hasn't really like changed or evolved so much, except for the fact that he is now deeply caring and acknowledging Grogu. But apart from that, nothing. His friends are all the same. His missions are always small in nature. The only big thing is now he needs to go back to the mines of Mandalore, bathe in the waters, and he'll be a Mandalorian again. Then what?
I think you've raised a good question here. I suspect that the objective of this season is going to be the reunification of Mandalore. So right now, what we know of the Mandalorian as a race, not a race, a species? No, as
a people.
People. That's right. That's right. So what we know of the Mandalorians as a people is that they're fractured, not just by ideology, as we've seen with the creed versus the believers versus the non-believers, but also by physical space and by distance. And by the way, spoiler alert. So we learn Bo-Katan's, the Night Owls have disbanded and have stopped following her because she wasn't able to get the Darksaber. And for her, the Darksaber was like the be all. And I think they all felt that the Darksaber was going to be a panacea of sorts, right? That if you get the Darksaber, you're going to reunite Mandalore. But the Darksaber is just a symbol. And ultimately, you still have to do the work. The Mandalorian, or Din, looks like he's ready to do the work. And based on the trailers that we've seen, it looks like he's going to actually get out there and do it, because he doesn't just believe in the creed. He believes in that whole ideology.
Yeah.
My feeling is that season 3 is going to be about getting back to Mandalore, kind of setting things right. I don't know how that works in terms of terraforming, blah, blah, blah. I don't know all of that, but at least getting the people back together. And we're starting to see hints of that. I'm not going to say more because you're only on the 3rd episode, but let's talk about episodes 1, 2, and 3. That's what I feel the arc of this season is going to be. And I think you'll agree with me once you see episode 4.
Yeah, I agree, only because Bo-Katan is so prominent in the later episodes of the show that you can't help but to know that this is not just a chance encounter.
Yeah.
That, she's played by Katie Sackhoff, right? Who we love.
Exactly. It's a wasted talent if they don't use her.
That we know that she's going to be instrumental and there's going to be something bigger. And I guess to that extent, I wouldn't be surprised if she starts to be more of the main character and the Mandalorian is not diminished, but takes a back seat to her and her mission for the reunification.
I actually think that at this stage, they probably want her to do so well that they can spin her off.
Yeah.
Because Lucasfilms lost Rangers of the Republic because of Gina Carano. So I think that at this stage, they probably would be very happy because, of course, the fans are ecstatic, right? Everyone loves Katie Sackhoff. Everyone loves Bo-Katan. It's one of the rare times where everyone's not just a fan of the actor, but also of the character. Right. But when I speak of Star Wars fans, and even the non-Star Wars fans, I think, generally speaking, everyone really likes Katie Sackhoff. So I imagine that it would work in their favor if Disney could parlay season 3 into a spin-off just starring Bo-Katan and maybe even Bo-Katan and the Night Owls. I think
Maybe.
that's
Yeah.
probably the right way to go. And then that will allow Din Djarin and Pedro Pascal to kind of float around and do whatever they want, like they have been doing. And the reason I say that is because Jon Favreau said that he doesn't really have an ending planned for The Mandalorian.
Oh, really?
Which is a good thing and a bad thing, right? It's a little bittersweet because it's a bad thing in the sense that you kind of want to see we've been spoiled by shows like Breaking Bad, Mad Men. We want to see a defined arc for characters. We don't want to see those same people in the same situations ad nauseum. Otherwise, then you're just become a procedural.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the bad thing. But the good thing is that we get to see more of Pedro Pascal over however many years it is.
Yeah, I have to say I'm also a little bit worried. I mean, I don't want the show to become stale.
Exactly.
And a lot of what makes the show great, for better or for worse, is a little bit of the Grogu, right? And if there weren't the cuteness of Grogu, I'm not sure if the show would still have its freshness about it.
Well,
But
yeah, I think the appeal would be much more limited. Yeah.
And even kind of watching it this year, the first 3 episodes, there is a lot of you can feel the writers or the producers actively thinking, how can we get Grogu involved? What emotion can he make with his eyebrows? What little squeal can he make? What you can feel that he is really there, like a pinch hitter in baseball. He's their magic potion that whenever they think they need something, they sprinkle a little bit of him in because he's such a likable, wonderful character, right?
Yeah.
But it's like when I watched, was it episode 3 where he has to get out of the mines and inform Bo-Katan, right? Is that 3?
Yes. At the very beginning. Oh, at the end of 2. At the end of 2, in the beginning of 3.
That was a lot of him and his little egg buggy, flipping into the fighter. I thought that was a little bit bold, right? That's not really what we've ever seen Grogu do before. Have we? No. So I feel like the more that this show kind of becomes a little bit stale, the more they've got to push Grogu into it. And I don't like that because I like him being fresh and I don't want him to be over exploited. And I'm worried that if Mandalorian doesn't have any end and it's going to try to go on for 5 seasons or 6 seasons, it's just going to be blatant exploitation of Grogu. And I don't know, I'm a little bit remiss about that actually.
So yeah, and then I have a few thoughts on the 3rd episode, which also was not a flashback, but you remember Dr. Pershing from the 2nd season, the evil imperial scientist. So we see his story and how that plays out. I'll just quickly say that I think it was a little ham-fisted, and I only say ham-fisted because if you want to talk about political ramifications and political intrigue, Andor has really spoiled it for everybody, right?
Yep.
I think
in a good way, though. In a good way, though.
In a good way. That's what I mean. It's that it's done a very, very good job in a way that I don't think any of these others have done. So that's my 2 cents on that. I think it's an interesting take, and we'll have more to say as more of the season unveils. Mm-hmm. And then we can decide, what we thought about it.
Super excited for more Mandalorian, though. Okay.
What else? What else have you been watching?
So we've got 2 things coming up that I think we should say we're about to watch. One is, of course, season 4 of Succession.
Yeah,
and
that's
the
right.
other, I haven't mentioned it yet, but it's season 2 of Yellow Jackets on Showtime.
That's right. It's also kicking off in the next week or 2.
Yeah, those are 2 that I'm really, really looking for. And first, can I say something? I don't understand the release schedules. We've suffered through January, February, March, those winter months when outdoor activities are usually at an all-time low, maybe not in Dubai, but generally around the world, right? London, for example.
Yeah.
And we've been really scrounging for good series. Now, when spring is sprunging, right?
Yeah.
Now we're getting Succession, Yellow Jackets, and Mandalorian and all this stuff that we should have been watching when it was like freezing and raining and dark early in January, February, right? Do I have this backwards?
I agree.
What's happening? Doesn't make any sense. In April's when everyone's like, man, I got to take my jacket and my boots off. I want to get outside and do an activity. And now we're getting Succession and Yellow Jackets, but it's a small complaint. I'm thrilled for both of those. Both of those, I think, are weekend binges.
I think you were a little bit more upbeat on Yellow Jackets than I was.
Oh, yeah.
But I will watch it. And
Yeah.
Succession, I think we're both equally enthused about.
Yeah.
And of course, this is the final season as well, which is pretty killer.
When I look at IMDb and I look at that cast of Succession, I love everybody from Kieran Culkin, who's an amazing Roman Roy, Alan Ruck, remember the old from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right?
Yeah.
And I was reading that the dude who plays Tom Wumgans, which is the best name, Matthew McFadden. He's actually a British dude. Did you know that?
I did, because I saw him last year in Operation Mincemeat.
Oh, that's right. We saw him in Mincemeat. So he was talking about how he got this role and the chemistry between him and Cousin Greg, right?
Okay.
Because Cousin Greg is like super tall. Apparently he's 6'7".
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's massively tall, right? And he's talking about the chemistry between those two. And he's like, it's just how difficult it is for those two to get like through scenes together. They're really like got great chemistry. But that whole cast, I think, is just fantastic. I'm super, super excited to watch, season 4.
Yeah.
It's vulgar though. I mean, I also saw an article about how many times they use the F-bomb.
Yeah.
Which I have to say I think is a little bit excessive, but it's part of the charm of that show.
I think it's also part of the stereotype, right? Like these New York fancy, wealthy, banker types.
Yeah.
I think it plays into that stereotype very much.
Yeah. Matthew McFadden was saying, he's like, when you look at the character Tom, who's like, he's just like so looked down at by like the Roy family, right?
Up until the end of last season.
Yeah. But he's like, the background of Tom is Tom went to Cornell. Tom's dad is a professor at a university and his mom is like a very prominent lawyer. He's like, that's the background of Tom. By no means is Tom like, he's not like a kid from a coal mining town,
right?
Who worked his way up. He's like, in almost any other setting, Tom would be considered kind of this snobby, rich BMW, Mercedes driving type executive. He's like, it's only within the context of the Roy family, that
he seems like the schlub.
Yeah, that have billions where they could say to Shiv, like, you really married down. Like, what are you doing with this common dude? He's like, Tom's not even a common dude. That's why he's like so insecure about everything, is that very unusual. But yeah, I take what you say, which is in the context of that family in New York, maybe the excessive use of F-bombs is not so unusual, but yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I could probably do without. But apart from that, I think it's very rare that you get, and it's one of the things I think you and I loved about For All Mankind. There's 6, maybe 8 main characters in this show. Cousin Greg, Roman, Tom, Shiv, Kendall, Connor, Logan, right? Logan's wife, maybe. And then there's a few supporting ones. There's so many main characters in it, which I think is one of the great things about Succession.
Yeah, look, casting ultimately is make or break for shows like this. When you're talking about a serious drama, which is more about interpersonal relationships than it is about the plot. Of course, the plot's important, but it's really about how they react to each other than it is about anything else. So casting is all the more important.
So those are the 2 things I'm looking forward to. Definitely Yellow Jacket Season 2, Season 4 Succession.
Yeah, we've also got, so we haven't started it, or I haven't started it, but so Star Trek Picard is out, the 3rd season, supposedly the final season.
Oh, yeah.
But I think only 4 or 5 episodes so far. I'm holding off so I can binge it in a row and and the same goes for Carnival Row Season 2, which is complete now. And let's talk about this because we kind of started talking about this offline.
Yeah.
But so you said that it's probably not a good sign that we're not super keen on watching this show.
I mean, it's the proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
We vote with our channel clicking, and we knew that Carnival Row was out on Amazon Prime for many weeks now.
5 weeks.
We've been lamenting to each other in our support group that there's not enough good content on television, right? And yet, neither one of us felt compelled to even give Carnival Row a try.
Yeah. It's on our watch list, and so we will definitely watch them.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's almost as if like I have to hit like entertainment rock bottom before I decide to turn it on.
Yeah. That means something, right? I mean, at the end of the day, probably no streaming service cares if you watch it and you're happy, or if you watch it and you're not happy, as long as you watch it. Just like they don't care if you don't watch it and you're really looking forward to it. It doesn't matter, right? It only matters if you turn it on, and we haven't. And I guess that is saying something about our enthusiasm for it, because we keep saying we like season 1, but our actions don't indicate that we liked it enough to watch season 2 yet.
I think it's also because there was a time gap between the two seasons, and a significant one at that. And 2, the entire time there was also a lot of question as to whether it's going to come out, not come out, what's happening. And 3, they already announced that it's over. Once season 2 is complete, which it is now, that's it. No more episodes coming out.
That's what did it for you, for sure.
Yeah, the motivation goes away immediately. Like, I get that you don't want to make any more episodes of it. Fine. I mean, I don't, but I could understand that. But why do you have to announce it so early? Because the problem is that for me and I'm sure it's not just me, for thousands, if not millions of other people, the motivation to watch that show drops, it plummets, and it goes down my priority list, because now I know I can watch Carnival Row season 2 anytime, because I don't have the time pressure of knowing that season 3 is right around the corner.
It does something else. It also puts something in your head saying, this show wasn't good enough. People didn't like this show enough.
Yeah.
Right? For me, it's telling me that, like, it wasn't liked. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
Give me the flip side of this. Give me the argument why that announcement is made so early.
I think the cynic in me would say that it's done for corporate reasons, so that, you tell Amazon shareholders that, hey, look, we're cutting costs. We're cutting the cord on shows that aren't popular. You can trust us with our decisions. Don't come at us for this $1 billion that we spent on Rings of Power. We know what's working and what's not working.
In response to that, I would say, 1, that may be a legitimate point. But 2, if you're really worried about your shareholders, you're not worried about Ethan with 10 shares of Amazon, or Pete with 1 million shares of Amazon. You're worried about BlackRock Equities Fund 1 that owns 4% of Amazon.
Yeah.
If that's the case, call that person directly. Okay, you can't do that. That's insider trading. Have a shareholders meeting, and on that call, or that earnings call where all your major shareholders will be there, say it there. The press release, I feel like, is not the best way to get that information out, and it undermines things, because you know damn well if you let that show roll, maybe 1 out of 100, it will actually outdo your expectations, and then at least you have the optionality to say, hey, let's hold off on the decision, or we've changed our mind. Actually, it's done better than we thought, or we were going to do this other show, but the dude or the gal got into like some type of legal issue. We need something to fill the space. Let's renew this one instead, right?
Yeah.
I feel like give yourself the optionality, but it just sends the wrong message when you're told before a show even starts that it's not going to continue.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And by the way, that defense that I gave is very lackluster. That's the only thing I can possibly think of. So Carnival Row, we will watch it. We will eventually review it, but don't hold your breath. We're not prioritizing it.
Yeah.
Because, we're in the middle of Ted Lasso, for example, right now. I just finished Shrinking.
Oh, let's talk about Shrinking, because that's Apple TV Plus, and that is precisely what you and I discussed in terms of high quality, small
Low
stakes.
stakes, low budget.
You want to summarize the plot?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the premise is Jason Segel plays a psychiatrist and he works in an office with three psychiatrists together.
Mhm.
Him, Jessica Williams, and Harrison Ford.
Mhm.
And Harrison Ford is kind of like his professional mentor. And
Mhm.
and the three of them have been working together for quite some time now.
Mhm.
We pick up a year after Jason Segel's wife has died in a car
Mhm.
accident. It's about him picking up his life and kind of getting back on track. He's got a young teenage daughter, and it's about the relationship that he has with his coworkers, with his daughter, in relation to how he was handling his grief.
Mhm.
It's very much a low stakes. This is the definition of a low stakes TV program. Very, very good, very high quality. It's actually written and produced by Bill Lawrence
Mhm.
and Brett Goldstein. Bill Lawrence did Scrubs, Cougar Town, and Ted Lasso, and Brett Goldstein is Roy from Ted Lasso.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
love Roy.
it's really well done. It's a really nice, it's not a slice of life show. They really dive into like the idea of trauma and grief and how you can handle it and what it takes to get out of that. It's really nice. It's really good. I don't want to say I relate to things in it, but of course there are elements of the show that everyone will relate to. And I think it's well cast, like superbly cast. Everybody in there I really like.
I have to say, for me, this is the sweet spot of Apple TV Plus. We did an episode recently where we talked about Liaison. There's a time to watch Liaison where you want this global, massive conspiracy,
Yeah,
complicated plot. Will they save the world? Will they not? And
totally.
there's a time when you just want to watch something that's a little bit less intricate and it's just good, funny, engaging dialogue and characters that you're cheering for or like enjoy, right? And I
Absolutely.
think that's what Apple TV Plus does really well, which is you come home, you've had a long day, a long week. You've got 1 hour between dinner and your next conference call or something. You just want to chill and enjoy your life. For me, Shrinking absolutely fills this void. Whereas something like Liaison, which is a very good show, it doesn't really put me at ease. It ends kind of like with a cliffhanger that you're kind of forced to see the next episode. It's different, but I think this is really what Apple does best is something like Shrinking. And I have to say, the title is not great. The cover art is not great. The advertisements are not great. So I can say sincerely to Apple, I would not have watched this show unless Pete told me that it was good. First of all, bravo to Pete for having good taste, and that's why you're my partner in
Thank
films
you.
and
Thank
stuff.
you.
But there's something wrong with Apple TV Plus where I've got my own podcast. Okay, joint custody of a podcast. And 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 I don't want to watch this show even though it's right there. There's something wrong, Apple, that you've given something such a bad title and a bad promo. Remember the promo was like kind of jumping on a trampoline or like some juggling balls in the air.
Oh, that's exactly right. I forgot about that.
I mean, sorry, I'm not going to watch it. I 100% would not have watched it without you. That's a criticism. Even look at the cover art. There's Jason Segel and there's Harrison Ford with his fingers in his mouth, making him smile. It's called Shrinking. No way do I want to watch that.
Yeah.
No way. It doesn't look funny. It doesn't look interesting. It looks stupid, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised there's no VP of common sense or anyone else has tested this. Even look at the color of the cover. I don't even know what color this is. Something like gray and green had a baby. I don't know. It's just uninspiring. So I'm really surprised that Apple's like, for this show, I think this is the way that we should do it. No way. On the flip side, did you watch the the promo for Tetris, also on Apple TV Plus.
Yes, I did. I saw the trailer just a couple days ago. I think it's coming out next week, right?
That looks amazing. Yes, it comes out on the 31st. How is it that a show with Harrison Ford and Jason Segel, I have no interest in it. There's a movie about Tetris, and I'm like, I am all in.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the difference between how they've put these two together. So Apple, please, like, fix Shrinking. It's a great show. It's an amazing show. And you couldn't have done more to make it uninspiring with the way that you've depicted it.
So Shrinking, I just saw that. That's very good. I am caught up now also on Hello Tomorrow, the other Apple TV program.
Oh, tell me about that. Because I love that dude, Billy
Crudup, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a mooch. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. I love the aesthetic. It's set in a retro futurism style. So like, it looks like it's set in the 60s, but it's got hover cars and, it's got spaceships and things like that.
Is it good though?
So it's not bad. It's a mooch right now for me. The premise is Billy Crudup is a salesman who's selling plots of land on the moon for people to go and move there. He's like a bad father, and that he's got a kid that the kid doesn't know he's the father. And he goes into the town where his kid lives and he hires him to be his junior assistant.
Huh.
But he doesn't tell him that he's this dad.
To try to have like a relationship with the kid.
Trying to build a relationship without telling him and so forth. So yeah, it's interesting. It's got Hank Azaria in it. It's got Billy Crudup, and it's also got Alison Pill in it. So it's worth watching. I just would not put it very high on my list of priorities. So if, I know you've got Apple TV, I would suggest that if you've really got nothing else going on in terms of, work, or in terms of I've got time and I've got nothing to watch, and you're not in the mood for like a fantasy show like Carnival Row, you could probably watch Hello Tomorrow. I'm
going to knock out Shrinking first. Then if I can do Succession or Yellow Jackets, I'll do that. But then I'll put Hello Tomorrow on my list. I think that's the way I'll do it. I mean, I have to say, we're getting into it's March Madness, right? Although now we're getting into April, but like now everything's coming very fast. So we've got, as we mentioned, we've got Shrinking, we've got Hello Tomorrow, Yellow Jackets, Succession, Mandalorian is still coming out, and cinemas are about to be busting in April.
Actually, you've raised a good point. So speaking of which, there's a couple of movies out right now and that will be out early to mid weeks of April.
Yeah.
That will not be out for Ethan, but they will be out for me. And that's due to the holidays in the UAE.
Yeah.
So what we've decided what we're going to do with that is I will watch the movies, quote unquote, live. And then we will do either a mini review or like a mini joint review, and it'll be more one-sided than it normally would be.
Yeah.
And that way that it'll still be current.
We've got Adam Driver and 65, which are both kind of like meh, willing to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
We've got Mario, Dungeons and Dragons, John Wick 4, Renfield.
Yeah.
What else is coming out in the next couple weeks?
I think that Renfield is the last one that I've got on my radar.
Yeah.
That's in the middle of April. And I'm not even sure what the release, that's the date I pulled, but whether that's actually accurate or not is to be determined.
Oh, also we've got Air. Air is coming next week. And The Covenant. I thought we were excited about The Covenant.
The Covenant. Remind me?
I'm going to remind myself first. Follows U.S. Army Sergeant John Kinley, Jake Gyllenhaal, an Afghan interpreter.
Okay.
You told me about this.
I did. I just forgot that it was a Guy Ritchie movie. So, okay. So that's interesting. So it's going to be, for us, it'll be released on Prime Video.
This is so funny because, as all of our listeners know, usually big releases come out in Dubai a day or two before they come out in London. And I'm always telling Pete, when can you see it? He's like, I'll see it Friday when it comes out. I'll say, I'm going to see it Wednesday night. I'll try to, no spoilers until then. And now the tables are turned because of Ramadan holiday in Dubai. You're getting to see things like 2 or 3 weeks before I'm getting to see them, the shoe is on the other foot.
Yeah, but just temporarily. That's just the circumstance of the holiday this year.
But man, that's a lot of good content coming out in the next few weeks. That's at least 4 to 5 films and 2 more good series, right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff coming in April.
So April's a busy month for us, but I'm looking forward to it.
Time to couch potato.
What else? Is there anything else we need to touch base on in terms of movies or TV shows that we are either watching or have watched recently?
I think that's a pretty good rant for now. I mean, I guess I can just say generally, I'm not even looking at Netflix. Like, there's nothing I'm looking at on Netflix unless you tell me or my brother tells me there's something super on Netflix. I'm not even like going there. I'm going to focus on shrinking. I'll probably watch John Wick 3 just to freshen myself and then finish up Mandalorian. And then there's a lot of stuff to plow through, for the next month.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not even going to waste my time going to Netflix. And I mean, maybe this is a playground for stream or skip, that we should be focused a little bit more energy on stream or skip in Netflix, and we can give each other a bunch of these, because we went there, I think, like in a prior episode, and we said like there's these 5 new releases. We don't know any of them. They're all Netflix originals. They're all, who knows what the quality is. Maybe you and I just need to each take like 2 or 3 of those, and like in a couple of weeks we'll knock them all out.
Yeah.
And see if there's any, hidden gems there. But my feeling on this. Netflix is just creating these with like ChatGPT. It's saying, create me a 10-episode series based on an Asian female detective with a white British partner solving a murder in blank, right? And these are just auto-generated. Yeah. Nothing interesting about any single one of them.
I know exactly what you mean. It certainly feels that way at times.
Or there's a lot of kind of foreign stuff. The foreign stuff is usually pretty creative and decent, but the production value is usually a little bit laggy, And
also, I mean, it's not necessarily targeted for us. I mean that specifically in the sense that you have to be in a reasonably good place in mind to sit down to watch a TV in a foreign language and read subtitles, or even a dubbed TV series.
The thing about the dubbing is you never get the color of the jokes or the phraseology just right. So so something that in Spanish might be very funny and clever just comes off a little bit wooden in English, and vice versa. And oh, by the way, if I have time for a tangent,
of course,
one of my German friends, I just thought about this. One of my German friends, his daughter does the German dubbing for English movies.
Oh, you're kidding.
She's like a teenager. So like whenever there's a teenager voice in English, she's the person that will dub it into German. Do you want to know how much she is paid per day?
How much?
200 euros.
What?
It's shockingly low, huh?
That's terrible.
Shockingly low.
A voice actor is only getting 200 euros?
Yeah. Apparently they tested like a lot of people. They were taking like a long time to do it. And somehow someone canceled once, and someone like knew her mom and said, hey, you've got a teenage daughter. Like, is she good? She's good at English, right? Do you think she could just do this? And it was something like a very short part. And they like reserved like the sound booth for like 8 hours. And she knocked it out like the first take in like 30 minutes. And they're like, that's it? It's like, yeah. And they're like, we're going to use you all the time. So now whenever there's a movie, they call her. And if you think about it, the daughter usually doesn't have like that many lines,
Yeah.
If you think of like any Gerard Butler movie, there's a dad, look out, or a no way, or I've got plans with someone tonight, like there's maybe 20 lines, right? So they just go one by one. They say, okay, you're at a bus stop. Your dad just called you on the phone. Read the line in German,
Yeah.
And she reads it in English and she'll just do it in German. And they're like, wow, this girl's amazing. She gets 200 euros a day. Huh.
I mean, 200 euros is a lot for a teenager, but at the same time, it's nothing for the industry.
I know. She's like, man, like the kid thinks she's making like totally
She's
rich. She's
banking
like,
it, yeah.
I could like buy all the ice creams I want for my friends, and I can buy like a new pair of shoes. Like she's thinking she's banking it. And the parents like, man, like it costs us like 10 euros to drive her there and 10 euros to drive her back. We're waiting around for 2 hours. Like, what a ripoff.
Terrible.
So there's my little story about dubbing. I just forgot about that because my German friend was visiting and he told me.
That's funny.
So that's what we've got coming up.
Stay tuned. We're going to probably release a few episodes that are maybe not in our regular recording schedule.
That's right.
And then next week,
big week next week.
As a preview for our fans, we will be recording with the Underrated podcast next week. I think the episode's probably going to come out sometime in May.
Yep.
But, you know, you will have remembered Derek from our Avatar review and, of course, the entire crew from our Shazam review.
Alan, yeah.
Good guys. All of them. Everyone's excellent. Really good insight. Very funny guys. If you haven't heard it, please, I implore you to listen to that episode. And then, of course, follow them.
Can we talk about what we're going to talk about on there, or are we keeping it secret?
Let's keep it secret. We'll be promoting it on our socials anyway. But yeah, stay tuned for that.
Okay, everybody. Heat, thank you for joining today. It's good to have a good ramble because we had a lot on our minds. We needed to get it out and recorded.
Yeah, it's nice. We kind of cleared the slate and then, you know, we can get back to it.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in and listening to Films and Stuff. I'm Ethan. I'm here with Pete. Don't forget to drop us a line and give us some feedback or suggestions.
That's right. You can reach out at aloha@filmsandstuffpodcast.com or tweet at us at FNSpodcast or DM us on Instagram at Films and Stuff Podcast.
Have a lovely day ahead.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ethan.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.